From the Offices of Curriculum and Instruction in collaboration with Instructional Technology, we present English RLA Grammar Time, Revising.
Everyone today to our STAAR TEK ELA session. We're excited that you're all here joining us today. We have a fabulous presenter and expert teacher, Deleth Juarez, with us today that's going to be going over some strategies on teaching for you today. And we have with us Carla Rodriguez, our ELA coordinator, who in a minute is going to just say hi. Before I have her do that, just make sure that you are checked in on the PD system to get credit for the session. The link is in the chat. So enjoy today's training, and Carla, take it away.
Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here. We're really excited for this grammar time number 3. We hope that you have great takeaways. The recording will be sent to your principals in case you do have any questions or would like to see it afterwards. Again, thank you so much. We hope that these PD sessions are of great value for you and your students. And we'll have Ms. Deleth Juarez from Guerra Elementary representing and doing a fabulous job. Take it away.
Yay, go Eagles. So if you haven't logged into the Nearpod, the code is there. I know that they shared the link on the chat, but as I go through it, the code stays on the top, very top on top in the middle, just in case you log in and you have others logging in. The very first thing that we want to go over is the assess curriculum, just as to why, right, we're choosing. I know on the previous grammar times you went over the editing and so forth, so we just want to continue on that. So as you can see, this is 11. So as part of the composition, appropriate conventions, but the one that we are going to focus on today is C, which is revising drafts, how to improve sentence structure by adding, deleting, specifically combining today, and rearranging the ideas for clarity. So Ms. Rodriguez, Carla will be going over a little bit of the data that we just had in terms of our benchmark.
So really quick, we just wanted to go over how important 11C is, right? If you look at the frequency distribution, and this is from Lead Forward, it shows us that 11C was tested between 4 to 6 times in each assessment. So we know this is a heavily tested TEK. So understanding what it is, which comes from the assessed curriculum, and how we teach it to our students is super important. And we saw the need based on our data. We did see the performance. And this item is specifically tested both in a multiple choice and in a short constructed response. So today, Ms. Deleth is going to do a continuing of our grammar time number 1 and 2 with revision as far as strategies to continue developing this skill. And we hope that it is beneficial for both you and your students.
Yes. So just like Carla mentioned, I'm here just to see like what I've noticed, what helps with the students. And honestly, it's just mostly about gaining their confidence. Once they see the revising and editing part, they completely blank out and they just, you know, it's the end of the test. They just want to put whatever. They are not confident with it. So it's just building on that confidence, having those conferencing with them so that they could just continue doing what they do best, right? So that they could see that it's the easiest, in my opinion, like out of all of them, right? So as part of the district, we're continuing with the arms and cups. I know that it was modeled before, but I just want to review it a little bit more. So for cups, one of the keywords that they look at the introduction, and we are going to go over a little sample in a bit, is the keyword is corrections, right? And for those that, you know, forget, you just kind of make that connection to the students. You know, it starts with the C, which one from the cups or the arms starts with the C, and they make that connection. And then, of course, for revisions, it's your arms. They're adding, removing, moving, substituting. So this is important for them to know so that they could have an idea and about what kind of questions they are going to be getting. That way they're already ahead of the game, right? So for today, as we mentioned, we are focusing on 11C specifically for combining sentences. This is just some of the rules that I came up with based on patterns, right? Just going and analyzing the data and the benchmarks itself, the questions. one of the first rule for combining is not adding in any information. And again, like we'll see how that looks like when I model in a bit. Rule number 2 is don't take out any information. A lot of the times we just want to make it shorter, but sometimes we do need that information, just depending. The main one, I think, is the repetition. Once there's something repeated, you want to get rid of it. And, even if you combine it and it's still repeating, you just have to get rid of it because it's not going to count for it. Rule number 4, don't change any words. Sometimes, because we don't want repetition, we want to add like a name or a random name, and it's not even part of the sentence. So we don't want to add that, or any adverbs or anything like that. The next rule is only one period. So most of the time when you're combining sentences, we know that it's 2 different sentences. So we want to get rid of that period with the comma and conjunction, right? Or just depending. And when there is a question when it comes to the revisions needed, they might approve, and we'll go over about what different answers we can get. You might have periods there. And then the next one is not to start with and or because, and that could even be like in terms of multiple choice. Once they see that, you want to get rid of those. So today, just the Nearpod itself is just like a little sample of a lesson with the students. Also, the collaborative board interacting is just what I've done with the students so far, and what kind of gets them a little bit more motivated. The very first one that I want you to interact with is the introduction. A lot of the times we ignore it, but that's one of the important pieces, especially because of time. Some of the kids don't have time, so you want to take them to like the shortcuts, right? If they have the time, of course, they read the passage, right? So for example, this first one here, and I am going to model, I'm going to be going back and forth through the Nearpod. Just know that you do have the Nearpod in front of you. Again, the code is on top, but I am going to go back and so that you could see what kind of strategies you want to set your students up. So for this first one, I'm going to go back to my journal. So a lot of the times the students will go, I don't know what strategies to use and so forth. This is basically how they set up, right? Or I have them set up. This first one is for that keyword on the introduction. And then these little lines right here, they're telling me whether they're using arms or cups. And then the rest is just for question 1, 2, and so forth. So this first one you see is as part of the collaboration board. So here they want to see what kind of passage it is, whether it's revising or editing, because the strategies are a little bit different and the questions are a little bit different. So just by reading it here, it's on the picture when you click on the picture on the Nearpod. Just by reading it here, I want you to type on the collaborative board, what's the keyword that you see here out of the 2? Whether it's revisions or corrections, and then if you could tell us if you're using cups or arms. So I'll go ahead and give you 1 minute to do that. So Mallory read about a fun charity event. She wrote this paper to tell about the event. Read Mallory's paper and look for revisions she needs to make, then answer the questions that follow. So go ahead and type in the keyword and then tell me if you're using arms or cups. I see revisions, arms. And then this is just basically giving the students, that opportunity. Can they distinguish that keyword so that they know that they're already ahead of the game in terms of knowing whether it's revising or editing? And then at this point, like if I see, for example, cups, then I would delete it, go back to the student, refer to them, and, talk to them on the side and make that little connection in terms of the R in arms. So I am going to keep on going. So whatever you do have typed, thank you for participating. Whatever you do have typed, you could go ahead and submit it. That way I could give you, we could give you credit for it. So the keyword is arms. So in this case, I would tell my students, right, you're going to be writing the keyword on top, revisions, and you're going to be telling me that you're using arms. That means that in this case, for example, she's talking about fun charity event, right? So whatever I'm adding, whatever sentence or words I'm adding or removing for STAAR, you might say, replacing, removing, moving, and substituting, replacing. Anything that you're doing with all four has to be about the fun charity event. Yeah, for those, for example, for those students that might not be able to read, that get tired of reading, then you could just have them, focus on that. So that's one of the first strategies that, we want to have those students be able to distinguish or identify. And that would be on the first block. So I'm going to go ahead and model this very first one. So this one is specifically from the redesigned third grade combining sentences. There's two different ways that they could get tested when they're combining sentences. The first one is multiple choice. But the very first thing that I tell them, right, it's when you're combining, you actually have to analyze it, right? You have to look at how many subjects and how many predicates you have in each sentence. So I'm going to go back to my journal. You'll have the question right in front of you. So in this case, they want us to combine sentences 10 and sentence 11, meaning that I don't need to worry about sentence 12, right, or any other sentences before. So here, now I'm analyzing the subjects and how many predicates, because I need to combine them. And we mentioned that in order for us to combine a sentence, we have to make sure that it's reduced, no repetition, reflecting back on the rules. So for sentence 7, the two questions that you're going to think about when you're doing revising is who, which is the subject, and what, which is the predicate. So for sentence, sentence 10, it says, some people even bring trash bags stuffed with teddy bears. So here they're talking about, and this is where we need to make sure that we're writing word per word of what's already on there so that we could identify what's being repeated. So this first one is, what's the subject? Is some people. And then what about them? What's the predicate for that sentence? Is even bring trash bags stuffed with teddy bears. Great. So that's already the first subject and the first predicate on sentence 10. So now we have to do the same thing, and I'll do a different color so that we could see the difference. For sentence 11, again, the two questions is who and what. And we're talking about they are clear trash bags. So this is where they want to confuse them a little bit because the predicate is a little bit towards the end, right? Because here they're actually talking about the trash bags. And they are, that keyword is they are. What about them? They are clear. So when you're combining, we're looking for any repetition. So from the first subject, which I'll highlight in yellow, right? And then the second subject is the trash bag. So even within the predicate, trash bag is the one that's being repeated. So you're always going to get rid of the second one, right? So these two are repeated right here. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm not going to use it in my new sentence anymore. And then there's another part that's being repeated, and they're going to get a little bit confused with, because this part right here, they're talking about the trash bag. So I'm not going to include that either. So I'm going to get rid of it. Now I'm only left with clear. And clear is, of course, this is where the students are identifying, right, that it's an adverb. So here they're identifying that what is the clear is the trash bag. So I need to be able to describe it right. Sorry, not an adverb, relationship. So here, this is where they're going to put the clear because they're describing the trash bags. So now that I get rid of everything, you have to tell the students, right? You're not typing. You have to make sure that you write it in a complete sentence before you type it, because we know that some students are just typing, and they want to include everything that they already got rid of. So I'm going to rewrite my sentence. Some, capital letter, people even bring, and this is where I add that second part, right? The sentence 11, but now I'm only stuck with or left with the adjective clear. Clear trash bags stuffed with teddy bears. And then we end it with a period. So when I go back to my question, now I'm matching. In this case, this is a multiple choice. Now I'm matching which one is the one that matches with my sentence, right? And I'm looking at A. This one was a major distractor. It's loading, sorry. This one was a major distractor because the word bags was still repeated. It sounded similar to what we had wrote, but the word bags was still repeated on letter A, so it can't be that answer. Which was some people even bring trash bags stuffed with teddy bears and clear bags, so it's being repeated, right? And then letter B, some people even bring teddy bears and clear trash bags and stuffed, so that kind of throws off a little bit what we're talking about. Letter C, some people even bring trash bags stuffed with teddy bear and clear. That the adjective is at the end. And then the last one, some people even bring clear trash bags stuffed with teddy bears. So that one is the one that matched, right, with no repetition. So let me go back. So this one, my answer would have been D. So yeah, I did. I don't think it was loading. There you go. So if you notice, like I mentioned, A was repeating the word bag, so we can't have any repetition as part of the rules. B and C were completely out of place in terms of the adjective clear, and the one that matched was the D, letter D. Hope you could see them now. All right, so this one was the one that was from a redesign. The way it looked on the STAAR sarcastic question, right? We want to make that connection with the students. Nearpod is lagging a little bit, so sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and skip. So this one, like I said, this is where they interact with it. We don't have to do this one, but they go back and look for those two keywords. In this case, it was revision. Here, this is combining sentences of multiple choice, which is a 5th grade from 2023. We see that they're wanting to combine these two sentences, 10 and 11. And in this case, it was tested as a multiple choice. And I won't model this one for the sake of time. Okay, and I'll keep going. The answer was A, and we'll provide those the presentation. So this next one that I'm going to model is a 4th grade redesign. So we see here as part of the introduction, again, we want to make sure that they don't that they want to read this, one, so that they could see whether it's revision or editing, and then 2, in case they're running out of time, you know, they could have an idea of what they're talking about. So here we see that now it's completely different. We said it could be tested as a multiple choice, and in this case, it's going to be tested as a text entry. So Martin wants to combine the ideas in sentences 3 and 4. In the box provided, write a new sentence that combines these ideas in a clear and effective way. So this is one of the reasons, one of the main reasons we want to make sure that they're analyzing it first writing it down as their notes, and then, they type it out. So I know that we only have about 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one next. So here again, when we're looking at these two sentences, when we're combining, we want to break it down with those two questions. My favorite color, pink. Sentence 3. Is my who and my what. So sentence 3 reads, roadsides and hills take on a whole new look. So here I have two subjects, right? So roadsides and hills. Remember, we're not getting rid of anything yet, so that we see where it's repeating or where we need to take away. And then the predicate is, what about them? They take on a whole new look. And then a period, because that's where they have a period. So now we're looking at sentence 4. Again, the two questions for revising, who and what, which is the subject and the predicate. Easier for the students to say and memorize or remember. Metals do too. So here we're talking about a subject, metals. And what about them? They do too. So here, okay, boys and girls, this is, oh, I forgot my period. This is where these two O's want to be together all the time. This is also, right? So what are they also doing? They're also taking on a whole new look. So that's repetition right there that we want to get rid of. And now I'm stuck with 3 subjects. So what happens with there? We do 1 subject, 2 subjects, and 3 subjects, meaning that they're listing 2 and more. We gotta move the and to that after that third one, right? You can remove it and then add it, or just replace it, right? So here, now I need to separate them with commas, right? Roadsides, comma, that's 1. Hills, comma, 2. And my and goes right before that second one. We want to make sure that the M is lowercase. We got rid of this period. And again, okay, so what am I typing, right? These are where the kids are like, okay, what am I typing? Where am I moving? So now this is where they're rewriting it to make sure that they're creating their sentences without the mistakes, without any repetition, the way they fixed it with their commas, so that they know exactly what they need to write, which is roadsides, comma. We added that comma because it's that first part of the list or item on the list. Oops. Hills, the second one, comma, and meadows. What about them? What about all 3? Take on a whole new look. Period. So this is very important for them. You could have this beautiful sentence already written out, but what happens the day of the benchmark or the day of the STAAR, they just type it, no capital letter, no period, no commas, and so forth. They need to make sure that they type it as it is, with the capital letter, with their commas, with their punctuation, no misspelling, because that's part of the TEKs, right? Can you create a sentence with, or combine a sentence with clarity? So part of clarity is making sure that, do they know the rules as well for capitalization, punctuation, and so forth. So that's the sample. After that, because of time, the next thing that I would have the students do, right, is type it out. You could have them do it on a collaborative board, just like the one we did for arms and cups. That's the answer, sorry. So then you could do a collaborative board, and as they're posting on the collaborative board, I would be deleting. Okay, you forgot your period, go back, retype it. Or, you know, you forgot your commas, go back, retype your capitalization. So you could have them go back and fix their mistakes, or have them edit. You could turn on the editing mode. Now, I know that there are, and I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, there's another way, or there's a better way to type out, like, you know, or create this sentence or combine in sentence. Yes, as long as it models or goes along with the grammar rules, they'll get it right? So there's different ways. I know that's why a lot of the times we don't see sample answers when we have, or we're rating our benchmarks, right? Because of that same reason. But if the sentence follows a grammar structure, right, combining ideas a proper way, maybe they like broke it off separately, then, you know, it's just depending on the sentence, how you're combining it, and even on the revisions as well. So there's different possible answers that STAAR will give the students credit for, as long as they follow their grammar rules. And this is the STAAR-tastic question. Again, you could have them do the collaborative board. So this one was from 4th grade 2023. We see that this is a text entry. This is where they have to type it out. First, you know, boys and girls, make sure that you write it out, look for your subjects, your predicates, and then you type it out. So this is where they want to do race, right? They want to go back and go back and do their evidence and so forth. But in this case, they don't need that. They're just fixing a sentence. Can you do it? Can you not? Can you get that 1 point, right? So I don't need that's why, you know, you're just focusing on these two sentences, and that's it. The answer for this one was Tibachi began using his own salary to purchase food and supplies for his students. So that was it. Like I said, it's more like of a modeling one for the Nearpod on how it could be a little bit more interactive, and making sure they know their grammar rules. And then 2, just, you know, I use Nearpod and GoodNotes for these questions for the students. And of course, gaining their confidence and showing them that it's not as hard, and not only gaining their confidence, but gaining your own confidence as a teacher, because grammar, writing, revising, and editing is super easy and fun, right? So I love it. Hopefully that kind of gave you a little bit at ease of how you feel about revising. I know it was a little bit fast, only because of the sake of time, but feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, or what kind of strategies you could do for this or that. I know that they did an amazing job on the other grammar times, so you could, the links are posted for those as well to follow back or reflect back on it. And the last thing, the survey.
Yes, we can please have the survey completed. We love your feedback. It's definitely something, if this was something that you all really enjoyed, that you learned something, this gives us that feedback that we need to make adjustments, or maybe other possible topics that you all might be interested, and that will guide our planning as far as PD. Great job to Ms. Aleth. She's a huge asset to her campus and to our district. We thank her for being here. I will also be placing on the chat grammar time number 1 and 2. These were done some previous months ago in regards to revising as well, and different TEKs. So in case you are struggling or not knowing of ways of how to teach certain revising, there's going to be another format that can be given to you guys as well for another TEK besides the one we reviewed today. So we hope that we do a collection of these videos for you all that you can go back and reference. But again, thank you so much. Please complete the survey. This